started recording. So area of the sector is part, degrees over 360 times pi r squared. Sector is what we call the piece of pie. So here's the first example, 120 over 360 times 10 squared times pi is 100 thirds pi. And as a decimal, what do you guys get?
704.72 meters.
What was that again?
104.72.
104.7? That's a radio station. Alright.
Well, that's a Christian station.
Yeah. Alright.
Listen to 105.73.
Okay.
Oh, Mary.
Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. Okay. Now, the next one. Instead of giving you the radius and the degree measure, on the next one, I'm giving you the area of the sector and asking you work backwards to find the area of the circle. So there's two ways we could do it. We could use that formula we just found, that the area of the sector is equal to degrees over 360 times pi r squared. And pi r squared is just the area of the circle, right? Isn't that what pi r squared represents?
Yes.
So we could do it this way. The area of the sector in this particular problem is 12 pi. The degree measure at that central angle is 80 degrees. Now the pi r squared actually represents the area of the circle. So if we were solving for the area of the circle, all we have to do is get rid of this 80 over 360. So what do we do to get rid of our fraction?
Multiply by 300.
Multiply by the reciprocal. Good. So we're going to multiply by 360 over 80. Times 12. Did y'all get 54 pi? And what would my units be? Square meters.
Meters squared.
Pi. Left out pi. Alright, so that's the area of the circle. Okay, the second way I like better, and it's probably what you would have done if I had taught you anything. And it's proportion. Part over whole. So, degrees over 360 equals, okay, 80 is the part. That's the sector. Over the area of the circle. So part over whole, part over whole. And then you just cross both sides. And you get the exact same thing. Pick your method. They're the same thing. So if you like to plug into a formula and plug and chug, do it. If you like proportions, go for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any difference between multiplying the reciprocal or dividing by the regular fraction?
That is the same thing. It is. One last problem. It's about something called a segment of a circle. So it's not a line segment, a segment of a circle, and it's part. So it would be the part that's cut off by the chord. So this little green part right here, the part that's shaded in green, is called a segment. So the directions might say find the area of the segment, or they might say find the area of the shaded region. So big picture idea, we'd have to do the area of the sector, the piece of the pie, minus what? Minus the area of the triangle. Very good. That is exactly what we do. Okay, so the sector is easy. 100 over 360 times pi r squared. The triangle, we don't have any. Triangle is 1/2 base times height, right? Isn't that how we find the area of a triangle? We don't know the base of that triangle, and we don't know the height of that triangle. How do we find it? Yep, just like we did on 39C. Just like what y'all asked about on that one problem. So we can draw in a radius that is perpendicular to the chord. And if we do that, it bisects the chord, right? And so we have created a triangle right here, a right triangle. And so instead of being 100 degrees, you're right, this is now 50 degrees. And this ends up being the height of the triangle, this section, doesn't it? And this section right here ends up being half the base because it's half of the base. All right, so I'm just going to call this B right now, but we know we're going to have to double it to actually get the full base of the full triangle, right? Okay, so we're going to use some trig. We know that radius is 8. So to find h, that's the adjacent side. So it would be cosine of 50 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So that becomes 8 times cosine of 50. The base of this little triangle, which we'll have to double, we can find using sine. Sine of 50 is opposite over hypotenuse. So it's 8 times sine of 50 when we solve. But we have to double this, really, to get the whole base. So, area of a triangle is 1/2 the base. Well, we said we had to double that because this base is not that base. We have to double it.
8 times 50.
Times the height, which is 8 cosine of 50. And I wouldn't ask for exact on this because exact would be ugly with this. We'd have to leave sine of 50 and cosine. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Approximate. So we do 100 divided by 360 times pi times 64 minus half of 16 is 8 anyway. 8 times sine of 50 times 8 times cosine of 50. Did y'all get 24.34
Yes.
inches squared? Square inches. All right, so your homework is out of your textbook. Take a moment, go ahead and get started on that. You've got not quite 10 minutes, but you may be able to finish. I'm going to pass back your quizzes.
Oh, no.
Yes, you may.
Okay.